Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the channel, man. Today we're sitting here, and I don't know exactly what I'm gonna call this, but we're just gonna call this like Fried Thoughts with Jay, or like High with Chef Jay Green, or something like that. Because today, I'm just sitting here, just chilling, recording a couple videos, and I wanted to go ahead and talk about the whole LeBron and Stephen A. Smith debacle. I'm just going off the top of the dome here, so I'm kind of just rambling, but you know, so LeBron James recently went and stopped Stephen A. Smith. It was during the third quarter. It was a timeout, and he was confronting him about his son. And he was like, stop talking about my son, yo, and all this type of stuff. And I really, first off, I want to address that. Like, why were you doing it during the timeout of the third quarter? Because Stephen A. did talk about this, and I did have to agree here because what was Stephen A. gonna be able to say in that moment? And he wasn't gonna be able to say anything because of how quick the moment is. So LeBron talked the whole time. And to be frank, I think that is quite rude because, LeBron is a quote unquote professional. So I thought he should have took his time to at least maybe address it in maybe even a private manner too, a little bit more respectful. But, it's LeBron James. He's gonna do what he wants. Who's gonna tell him wait, you can't do that, LeBron? What? Probably not. But after that, Stephen A. Smith, and he got way too much backlash for this. Stephen A. Smith had to go on to ESPN the next day, and he originally said that he didn't want to speak anything of what happened, you know. And then all of a sudden he says, well, the people upstairs brought him in and were like, yo, you have to talk about this. This is super important. You better get this out. And then he had to go address it. And nobody believed him. And I really don't know if it is the truth for sure, of course, because people can be lying. But that seemed so honest and true. I really do believe him. And I think that he was just very defensive in this because honestly, you know, I think maybe there was one point where he talked a little over the edge because I think a lot of people took it too literal. I don't think he ever was trying to talk about how LeBron is as a father, but it was about basketball the whole time, in my opinion. But it got kind of taken, it got blown out of proportion a little bit. And it happens a lot with a lot of things that are said. But, I never understood him saying he was going to fight LeBron. What the fuck? Well, that was the most out of left field. That was the most random thing ever. He after every, so I'm just talking. I'm not going to give you a day by day, but he said that if LeBron would have stepped up on him, that he would have swung immediately. Brother, you would have died. I mean, what, why would you even provoke such things? Because LeBron can't punch you, and you can't punch LeBron. So why even say such a childish thing? Because honestly, in that video, he was making so many good points. And also, after he was making his, I think it was his second response video, for the last 15 minutes, all he did was talk about how he hated LeBron, and then he just talked about Michael Jordan. Bro, this was about Bronny. How the fuck did we get from Bronny to you fighting LeBron and LeBron Jordan debate? This is the core ESPN we're talking about here. How are we still talking about LeBron Jordan? So that blew my mind because nobody was talking about Bronny. And I will say though, it did seem that Stephen A. did switch up pretty quick. You saw LeBron or Bronny drop 17 points. I think it was against the Bucks in kind of trash time. They did lose, and that was 20. Stephen A. really wasn't saying Bronny was going to be super good, but I will say, Bronny is the 50, I think 57th overall pick. No one's expecting him to be great. But I will say Stephen A. was always giving the benefit of the doubt and saying that Bronny could still be good. because that's all we're looking for at the end of the day. And by the way, congratulations to Bronny. Yeah, I feel like nobody's really talking about, like, we're talking about Bronny, but no one's actually talking about Bronny. Like, congratulations, bro. Like, you really out here, like, living up to a lot of the expectations that were put onto you and put on your shoulders. And you go out and drop a good 17-point game. I mean, that is pretty impressive because, I mean, not everybody, I mean, not many people have dropped 17 points in an NBA game. You know, there's a lot of people that haven't, you know. So I think that was a very impressive thing. And he's got a bright future, you know. So, like he's set for life with his contract, fully guaranteed, which other rookies, especially in the second round, have had plenty of fully guaranteed contracts. So it's not like Bronny got some like special treatment. And you know, I also think it's ridiculous because Bronny probably would have been a first rounder, early second rounder, if he didn't have that heart problem, like that heart thing where he like collapsed and basically died and then came back to life. I feel like so many people just looked over that. Like that is such a serious thing to like be able to recover from. Like there's no way that his basketball skills didn't suffer like a good bit, honestly, from that happening, you know. And, you know, with him also, he probably could have played another year in college, but he didn't. But still, like, he's a rookie. Let the dude develop. Like, every other rookie will look at and we'll be like, you know, well, you got to get his rookie year in, and then we're going to see a second year, and then hopefully by like his third year, we'll see like a star and he'll start emerging. And you give it that like timeline. And that's with like first rounders. No one talks about the second rounders. But we talk about Bronny on a game to game basis. So if he had 2 points this game, Bronny's ass. If he scores 20 the next game, ooh, Bronny might be an all-star one day. Like we gotta just let it soak in. Like let it just chill. You know, let it develop. Let him get into his second year and see when he actually starts getting real rotational minutes, you know. See if he's still in the league when Bron retires. If he makes it into the league past his rookie deal, and if he gets a second contract, that's basically like making it to the fucking Hall of Fame for the expectations that were having. Nobody thought he was actually going to be good. Imagine if he is averaging like 15 and he gets to a second contract and makes like 40 to 50 million in his career. Look what he did. Like that's nuts. That's really nuts. It really is. But that's all I really got, man. I think Stephen A. and LeBron are both childish as hell. I think that's the real story here because LeBron was dragging it. And then Rich Paul, I don't know what he was saying, but he was dragging. It was all drag. Brian Windhorst, hey, shout out Brian Windhorst. Called a stray. Called an absolute stray. But yeah. And by the way, one last thing. LeBron going on to the Pat McAfee show just to also, he did lie a lot about what Stephen A was saying, and he did exaggerate a lot. And I don't like the fact that he exaggerated as much as he did, because he made it seem like Stephen A was like stupid. Like, I don't know, it made it seem really bad. But, you know, Pat McAfee wasn't going to ask LeBron any difficult questions or give him any pushback. So I feel like that was just such a easy go-ahead platform just to go get on, you know, because everyone's just going to be like, oh, yes, 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 of course, of course, of course, you know, like kind of being just like, yes, man, but, okay, that's it, man. I hope y'all enjoyed, man. If y'all want to see more content like this, just let me know, but I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.